Hey there, Heidi Cooper, functional medicine practitioner here. Is fasting fueling weight loss resistance in perimenopause, menopause? Is resetting your hypothalamus what you need for real results? So we're going to tackle this subject today because I think so many women are so frustrated with this weight loss resistance. I know I was, even as a functional medicine practitioner, because I looked at all of the data on fasting and it's so good. There's so much great information on fasting out there. But I'm here to tell you it's not the answer for everyone, and depending where you are in your hormonal journey, it can actually create a lot of issues. In fact, I always tell the story of doing a 5-day water fast several years ago and actually gaining a couple of pounds after a 5-day water fast, water only for 5 days, and I actually gained 2 pounds. So if you've done a lot of fasting, whether it be intermittent fasting or block fasting, and you're finding that you're having the opposite results, I'm here to tell you that there's more to the story. There's a whole different set of things that need to be addressed in order for you to be able to lose weight. And once again, I've been there. I've had so many clients that were there. We were really looking at all the research several years ago on fasting, and really that was something that we were promoting to clients. But with women in hormonal imbalances, we were finding it was actually not helpful from the weight loss resistance component at all, and actually exacerbated that problem for many women. And here's why. Fasting is a huge stressor on the body, and so we always talk in our practice about the different stressors filling up our bucket, the proverbial bucket, where you have physical, physiological, psychological, or chemical, emotional, physical stressors that fill this bucket up that we each individually have. And when that bucket starts to overflow is when we start to see some of this dysfunction happening in the body. Now, once again, fasting can be a remarkable tool when the bucket isn't overflowing for people. And so when we have all of these things that we're bombarded with, whether it's environmental toxins, psychological stressors, physical stressors, sometimes people are actually even working out too much, and that can be a stressor. This goes back to there can be too much of a good thing, and this is the category that fasting can fall into as well, where it's creating an additional stressor on the body. And so what happens is that there's damage that happens to the hypothalamus when the hypothalamus is in the brain, and it's a metabolism regulator. It has many different functions. It even controls temperature, many different functions that it does in the body with hormones and many other processes. And sometimes when there has been significant stressors over time, once again, the body does not differentiate between those chemical, emotional, or physical stressors. When those have overburdened the body over time, there's damage that happens to the hypothalamus. And when that damage occurs, adding fasting in can be another stressor at that point that can create even more damage. So what we have had amazing success with in our practice is focusing on the things that we need to do to heal the hypothalamus in order to get that metabolism functioning again. And I'm here to tell you it works. I actually lost close to 40 pounds once that was figured out. And I want to share with you that entire time that I was gaining weight, I was doing all of the right things. I was eating cleaner than anybody that I knew. I was exercising, really trying to focus on sleep and all of the right things. And I continued to steadily gain weight and have some of that weight loss resistance that I know some of you have dealt with, and it's just so frustrating. In fact, at one point I told my husband if I didn't know better, I'd just start eating pizzas all the time, because here I was eating really, really well and continued to gain weight. I know a lot of people will try different dietary styles, whether it be keto or paleo or carnivore or vegan or whatever the case may be, and none of those things will work. Even though it's great, we always encourage whole food item eating, none of those things will work in the weight loss resistance category once that hypothalamus is damaged. And there's so many factors that contribute to that damage occurring and how to heal it. So we talked about some of the environmental factors, some of these toxins that we're exposed to environmentally are really doing a number on the hypothalamus. So doing, some supportive strategies to remove these toxins from our lifestyle, but then work with specific things to rid the body of these toxins, because sometimes when we've had such exposure and the body is compromised, it's not even removing the toxins effectively any longer. So that would be something that we focus on with cellular detoxification, cellular healing. And then everybody is under so much stress that when we're dealing with some of these chronic stress situations, there's a lot that we need to focus on as far as nervous system regulation goes, to really support that chronic stress / trauma burden that the body has been dealing with for a long time too. So what in essence we're trying to do is off burden the body enough so that we can get some of that healing to occur with the hypothalamus. And then finally, there are specific strategies that we use depending on what's going on with someone's lab work to go in and actually address healing the hypothalamus. There's specific ways of eating depending on what's going on with somebody's lab work for certain periods of time to really promote healing. I don't know what other word to use than to kind of biohack what's going on with the system to get that hypothalamus to heal, where we can get the metabolism working back the way that it once was. And I think that's the thing that's frustrating for so many people too often, is that at one point they were able to eat maybe even things that wouldn't be considered as healthy as they're eating now, but when their metabolism was working effectively and efficiently, they were able to eat those things without gaining a bunch of weight. And now there's kind of the joke, they look at it and they gain weight. So there's just a way to really address all of this and heal it so that it is no longer an issue. Now, we would never encourage someone to go through this process and then just not be eating ultra highly processed foods again. We're always going to encourage whole food item eating. But the point is that when you heal some of these things, even in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, you should be able to have a healthy metabolism and things working the way that they should be, and not having to worry about calorie counting all the time or being super rigid with a certain dietary style. And so I just want to give you hope. If you've been dealing with this and you've done some of the strategies with fasting and you haven't had the success that you feel like you should, for the amount of effort that you've put in, I just want to share that there's more to the story. The hypothalamus is really what needs to be addressed for true healing, and there are some great resources to do that. If you've got any questions, please feel free to reach out. I feel very, very passionate about sharing some of this information and how we can help support you or a loved one of yours that is struggling with some of this, because I've been there. We've had so many clients that have been there, and we have such great solutions. We're having such amazing success once we address these things. So hope this was some helpful information for you. If you have been fasting and looking at different strategies and that weight is just not coming off, there are some really amazing solutions that do not involve medications or injections. So health and happiness, have a super fantastic day. Please like and share this video so that we can provide more content for you that's helpful in your health journey. Have a super amazing day.